capital process, through the budgeting process, we would determine one or two of those to move forward. There's also changes requested for Oak Street, lighting, sidewalk issues with that could work all together. Councillor Underwood.
I apologize, but I just want to make sure that if this goes to strategic planning and budget, like not every single thing, if something comes up, for instance, at the last part of the report is about signals for the blind citizens, and they're looking for funding and stuff like that up to 75%. But if that comes through,
yeah,
I don't want this sort of held off. I would like it to be able to be brought back, is what I'm saying. As
don't want to hold
relevant.
No.
Okay.
We don't want to hold any of this up. What we want to do is the items that need to have a policy behind them regarding sidewalks and payments or improvement funds need to be taken to strategic planning. The actual sidewalk doesn't need to be talked about at strategic planning.
Okay, good.
Because if we have the policy there, it'll either fit or it won't. Okay?
This is like a one-off.
All in favor of that? Or do you have another comment? Sorry?
I have a comment.
You haven't had your turn yet.
No, I haven't. That's okay. I didn't have my hand up. Okay, the pedestrian crosswalk at Marywoods has been a great discussion, and I know that we have the other ones. Are we going to prioritize any of these, like, so that we're doing one a year, or like,
That's what the discussion will be when we bring it to strategic planning and budgeting.
okay, so when are we planning on doing that? I'm sorry, I'm on a timeline thing tonight.
When we can get through it. We hope to have.
November.
Depends how long you want to deal with strategic planning. Councillor Scott.
Can I make it, that we talked about this in the first Tuesday in December? Sure.
We can put it together with some other stuff, like
Well, I realize
whether
it'd
it's
be
a
other
whole
things,
meeting
but-
for sidewalk discussion. I guess it can be.
It's been a year and a half, the least you can do is give it a meeting.
Well, I just don't want to see this go away, and it comes around to the end of December, and here we go
Motion is-
again in January talking.
The motion is it's going to be discussed, so if it goes away, it's because we didn't bring it back. So we'll try and get it back.
So the first Tuesday in December then.
On or before, we have a motion. We have a
Can you add
motion
that to yours?
already.
Who's that?
I have no objection.
Okay.
yeah.
The two are ready to add that in as a friendly amendment.
The Tuesday council meeting. Tuesday council meeting in December.
And these two were so wonderful to allow that as a friendly amendment, Mr. Mayor.
All one motion. All in favor of that?
Hey, Marty, you still here?
Strategic planning, and budget.
Eight. Okay. 8.9. The underlying policies. The policies in this will go to strategic planning, so we'll separate the policies out. As part of that, that's understood in the motion. Councilor Munson?
You said 8.9, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm going to move that we defer this again to strategic planning every December the 3rd, and I'll tell you why.
Sorry.
I'll tell you why.
Didn't mean to laugh.
This is again not a 5-minute discussion. This is something that has to do with where we hold our business. So, you know, we asked originally for one proposal, 25 grand. Now we got 3 different ones. So, I think we need to take the time, and I don't think 5 to 9 at night is the time to be doing this.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that we're referring the council chamber discussion to strategic planning.
And budget.
To the same Tuesday.
Oh, and budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same Tuesday, sure.
All in favor of that? That's carried. Report 104. This is a recommendation to be reviewed and approved in advertising opportunities with the arena facilities in Lamington. Councilor Cook?
Oh, I guess this is an excellent report, and I'll move the recommendation. I think Brent did a great job on doing that.
Yep. Seconded by Councilor Underwood. Any questions? All in favor? Carried.
Can I get a discount?
No. Absolutely not.
8.11. This is recreation facility fee philosophy. And this is, there's the history and the background. It's a very extensive report. Option 1 is for full cost recovery. Option 2 is the impact of that. And then option 2 is fully subsidized recreation. Option, keep going down on the page, option 3 on page 148 is a combined approach, or basically status quo. We subsidize some things and work on a policy. Does somebody want to talk about this, or is council prepared to make a motion? Or do we want to refer this to strategic plan? Councilor Underwood.
Well, given the situation that things are and everything, I would recommend, I make a motion that we go with option 3 and or a hybrid, like we can look into the future for a hybrid mixture, because obviously we won't be able to do a full cost recovery.
There's been some discussion on the grants and how we work that into that, so it's a working, this is being adjusted as
Status quo, and it tends to move around with as things come, and we can move with it. It's more flexible, I think.
okay. Seconded. Councilor Russell.
I agree with Councilor Underwood. I think it's an excellent report, and I think one of the good parts about it is as part of our strategic planning discussion, Mr. Mayor, this is the philosophical stuff that we have to discuss, and at certain points, right, we may have to, as Councilor Underwood said, we might have to hybridize things for purposes of encouraging certain behavior, and that's fine. But I think, I'm not sure if I personally don't think we're at full subsidization or anything close to that at this point in time.
Deputy Mayor Day.
Yes, I agree too. I think we have to stick close to the status quo as well, and I know in here there's some suggestion that we would potentially subsidize some recreation, and as I mentioned earlier, I have a strong reservation with that right now. I think that there are other potential options for people to have subsidization if necessary, and I don't think that we should be expanding beyond the almost 23% of our budget right now that's going towards recreational expenditures. So there's some other things that we have to be careful. We have to be investing our funds strategically in the future.
Okay. All in favor of that? Carried. Thank you. 8.12, report 106, Walker Road condition. Some safety concerns with Walker Road, and there's a couple options there, short-term and long-term. Councilor Russell, this is
This is,
it's in your
I've been dealing with this for a couple months, and it's an excellent report, and I think they've done a good job of looking at it. It wasn't high on the priority list, but roads that go through the middle of an old lake sometimes do things that we don't expect them to, as much as 6-inch depressions or whatever. And I think that I'd like to recommend that we go with the option 1 and not worry about the fact of having a gravel section there. What I'm worried about is the safety. Having a sign up and it'll just say somebody goes down that road that the sign means, oh, it's a little bump. Well, those aren't little bumps, and they haven't been for a while. And we get into winter conditions even this month. The potential is getting there for danger. So I think option 1 is good because it has to be, as explained, it has to be engineered correctly. Obviously, the data is as good as possible. And personally, I think the whole idea of citizens being tolerant of the granular section for a prolonged period of time, I think then the follow-up to that would be that we would budget toward that next thing for resurfacing, and for the good reasons. As we said earlier, a couple months ago, right, when we're doing things, if we're not putting the money aside to do them correctly, then maybe we shouldn't be putting services on these roads.
So you're saying option?
Option 1, I think it's 17,000.
That's the short-term option 1 is pulverizing it, turning it back to gravel
Through that section.
through that section.